Hi there. In this video, we're going to be looking at business goals and business plans. Now there's three different types of levels of planning that we're going to look at. We've got short term, medium term, and long term. Now they also go by a variety of different names. So for example, short term is also known as operational. Medium term is also known as tactical. And long term can also be known as strategic. Now they also vary in their time frames. So for example, short term, you're looking at really a day-to-day or a week-to-week or even a month-to-month time frame, but it's very short. Medium term, you're looking at roughly 1 to 2 years. And long term, you're looking at about 3 to 5 years. So when dealing with business goals and business plans and those three levels of planning, you're really looking at what do you do every single day that then builds up into a medium-term goal, which then leads to the overarching long-term goal. The best way I can explain this is using a diagram. So this is our starting point. This is our end point and beyond. Now, in a business, you can't just start and then hope for the best that every single day you're going to achieve something. You need to start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? If your business's goal is to have, say, $1 million in sales in 5 years, then everything they do needs to then lead to them achieving that goal. So they need to start with the end in mind. We want $1 million in 5 years. So we're going to draw this sort of like a semicircle there. So from start to finish, that whole time frame, let's say that is 5 years. In that time frame, okay, they want to make $1 million. Now, how do they get to that $1 million? Well, they need to then break it down into years. Now, medium term are 1 to 2 years. So we'll break this down into into smaller goals. So these are going to be 1 year intervals. So at the end of every year, they will have done something that will then help them slowly and cumulatively achieve their end goal of $1 million after 5 years. And that could simply be, by the end of year 1, we're going to have X amount of staff. By the end of year 2, we're going to have X amount of physical space or physical property. By the end of year 3, we're going to have X amount of revenue. By the end of year 4, and the end of year 5, and so on. But it doesn't end there. The last thing we need to look at is then what do they do day to day or week to week or month to month that then leads to these end of year goals. So that's when you break it down. So then they look at that and say, okay, well, by the end of 1 month or by the end of 1 week, we're going to have trained X amount of staff. Then the next week or the next month, we're going to do this. And the next week or next month, we're going to do this. And that then, theoretically, will then add up to them reaching their yearly goal. And then when they reach all of their yearly goals, again, theoretically, it should then lead to them reaching their overarching goal that they want. And then after 5 years, they're going to look at it again and say, okay, well, where do we want to be in another 5 years? And they'll start this process all over again. Well, I hope this video has been informative and has helped you understand business goals and plans just that little bit more. Thank you.